What's up guys, Tony Blake here, and today we're talking about the Palmetto State Armory ARV. Absolutely one of my favorite weapons I own. I honestly didn't expect to like this weapon as much as I do. I paid just under $800 for this shipped, and let me tell you, it was worth every penny. Let's grab an empty magazine so this isn't as awkward to look at. Here we've got our Smoke ETS group magazines. These magazines have some issues, but we'll talk about that in the video. So what is the Palmetto State Armory ARV? Well, it's a direct blowback 9mm PCC built on an AR-15 style platform. So it has all the same controls that your standard AR-15 rifle or pistol might have. It has a safety. I put an ambidextrous safety on there. It's an upgrade. We'll talk about that as well. But it has your standard AR-15 charging handle. It's got a free-floating rail, same AR-15 style grip, and we'll go over all that more. But yeah, it's an AR-15 style pistol. You see, I've got an SBA-3 tactical brace on it. It's threaded in 1/2x28. It has a relatively standard AR-15/AR-9 internal setup. The difference in this AR 9mm PCC versus any other 9mm PCC is that it takes the Scorpion mags, or Palmetto State's version of the Scorpion mags. It also does take actual Scorpion mags like this UTG one, and has a pedal release by the trigger. Other than that, it's a pretty standard AR 9mm PCC. If you're used to an AR-15 style weapon, then this weapon is going to feel right at home to you. Okay, but my configuration's a little different than the standard one, and it's actually much closer to the saber version of this weapon that Palmetto State Armory just came out with not too long ago. I didn't know that was coming. I might have bought that instead, but it actually has a lot of the same upgrades. So let's look at this weapon from the front to back and see what we have here. So from the top, we've got this standard A2 Burkade flash hider. It does what it does, it's mil-spec. Then moving back, we have this free-floating PSA handguard, which houses the rest of the other things we'll talk about in the front. Very simple, very lightweight, very, the standard, cheaper, free-floating handguard. It's not bad. Cheap doesn't mean bad, cheap means cheap. QD points on the front here, on either side, which is very nice. We're also using the Magpul M-Lock covers for a little extra grip up front, because honestly, this handguard did not give you a lot of places to grip and it was very slippery. So we added these Magpul covers just to give you a little something more. We've got this Surefire Scout knockoff that I've had laying around for forever. I know it's a knockoff, you know it's a knockoff. Honestly, I've shot 3,000 rounds to this and had no issues. I'm not trying to claim it's a Surefire Scout. I'm just saying it is what it is. I've had it sitting in a box for ever, and I want to take a flashlight off one of my other weapons. Do with that information what you will. I'm not telling you to buy it. Moving on back, we have our upper receiver, which is again very standard, and then we have our Vortex AMG UH1 Huey. This is the Gen 2 version. I absolutely love this optic. This is a holographic sight, not a red dot sight. So people have said they had stability issues with the emitter and it jumps around. I haven't had any issues with that. It's held zero since day one. This is actually not the first weapon I've had this optic on. I had this on an AK at one point, but it's sitting a little too tall, and I feel like it sits at a perfect height here on this AR-9 style pistol. In the daylight, this is clear as can be. I absolutely love it. Moving on back a little further, we have our charging handle. This is the Radiant Raptor charging handle, standard Radiant Raptor. I don't know what to say. I do love this charging handle. I like how much clearance it gives me. I'm not really too worried about the ambidextrous nature of it, more so that it just gives me that little bit of extra something to grab onto. All right, moving down lower, we have our magwell. It is a Scorpion style magwell. Let's take Scorpion style magazines. Has a very positive connection point. Really let you know that magazine's sitting in there. Dropping this magazine out real quick. We have a bolt release on the other side. Works very well, very easy to actuate. And then of course we have, like I said, the pedal release for the magazine, which is very nice. Moving on down and back a little bit, we've got the Radiant Talon ambidextrous safety. It can do a 45-degree throw or a 90-degree throw. I'm used to the 90-degree throw. It's my manual of arms. It's what I've known my entire life, so that's where I have it. But very nice little safety. I think it also adds a little bit of style to this weapon, and that's nice. And moving down a little further, we have the B5 Systems grip. I love this grip. I use this on every AR that I have. It's not even a question when I'm looking at the grips for those weapons. This is the one I like to go with. And the final thing that I did kind of skip over down here, we have the trigger. It's the PSA in EPT trigger, the enhanced polish trigger. It's good. It feels mil-spec. I think it is just a mil-spec trigger, but it feels fine. I don't hate it. Yeah, it's not too bad. Moving on back, we have a standard buffer tube. Inside we have a standard buffer tube assembly for a 9mm. Yeah, and this tears down exactly like any other AR-15 style weapon would. 2 pins, and your weapon comes apart in half. Inside the upper receiver, we have just a standard 9mm bullet carrier group. Yeah, and that's basically my build out for this ARV. I changed out, like I said, a couple of things. The grip, because I changed all my grips. The safety, because, you know, it's really nice to have this safety on both sides. You know, I don't normally actuate it on the right side, but when I want to, I want to. So, you know, it's nice to have that. This sight is an absolute godsend, the Vortex AMG Huey. I genuinely love this. It's right the perfect height for me. Not having any PCCs at this location to compare to physically for you, but I've shot a lot of PCCs in the past, and that includes the MP5, the CZ Scorpion, the Strybog, and I can say it's not as nice as an MP5. It's a direct blowback 9mm. Of course, it's not as nice as an MP5, but compared to the Strybog, which does have a roller delay blowback, I actually prefer this because it's not that much of a kick. It's 9mm, so you're gonna be fine, but it does feel really good compared to Strybog. Strybog, for some reason, I can't tell you exactly why. I'm not holding it, I haven't shot it in a little bit, but all I can remember is that it felt kind of cheap. And while this is a cheap weapon, actually, it actually costs about the same, I think. This feels more premium than the Strybog, especially with the upgrades I've made. And granted, this is like, what, 150, maybe 20 bucks, the 40, maybe $200 in upgrades besides the optic. Is it as good as the Strybog is out of the box? Like, yeah, not even close. I think this is much better than the Strybog out of the box. Compared to the Scorpion, however, I do think I would pick a Scorpion over this. Yeah, the Scorpion's a little more clunky than this. This is AR style weapon, so it's gonna be more familiar to the weapons you probably already have. But the Scorpion does feel more premium. It does feel more responsive, I think. And I've never had an issue with my Scorpions. I never had an issue with them failing at the range. This, as we're gonna get into, I did actually have a couple of issues with. I think they're mostly due to these ETS group magazines. So this ETS group mag, I don't really love, but this Palmetto State Armory mag, the one that it came with, I think is a lot better. The 35 round magazines, I've had 0 issues with these so far, but I can't just pick these up at the store. So I picked up these ETS group mags, picked up 4 of them, and I will honestly say I think they are pretty bad. Every single one of them had a malfunction at some point, except this one, which I've marked here with this Hatsune Miku sticker. Yeah, this is the only one I've had no issues with, so this is the one that stays loaded. But no, my home defense mag is this Palmetto State Armory 35 round magazine, even though it doesn't look as nice. I don't think it looks as nice as the ETS group mags, but every single one of them had either a failure to feed, a double feed, one just would not click into place. I had to really just really slam it in there to get it into place, and that was really annoying. I've had 0 issues with the Palmetto State Armory, the one that came with the actual weapon. It also has this metal feed lip in here. I don't know if that helps anything, but man, it has been just a treat to run these PSA mags with this PSA weapon. Go figure. So would probably steer clear of the ETS group mags for the time being, unless you just want to look cool and that's all you care about, because they do look really dope. Now, it's a 9mm PCC weapon, so I'm only really trying to shoot at maybe 50 yards, 100 yards. And in 50 and 100 yards, this weapon was fairly accurate. I got 2-inch groups with it, and that's fine by me. That's all I'm really looking for. This is a short range home defense weapon in 9mm. I'm not asking for a lot out of these weapons. I've taken this weapon to the range 3 times since owning it, and each time I shot about 1,000 rounds. And when I was using the ETS mags, I had issues. When the PSA mags, no issues. But by the time I brought it back home, it was so fouled up that I had no choice but to clean it, which is unusual for me for my ARs. I usually clean them every 2,500 rounds, and it's 5.56, or even other 9mm Glock style ARs that I've used. I only clean them like every 2,500 rounds, but I had to clean these like every time I came back from the range, which is about 1,000 rounds. And I'm not exactly sure why it got fouled up so quick. I did not particularly care for that. It's easy to clean though, because it's an AR style weapon, so that's nice at least. So yeah, all in all, I do think this is a cool weapon. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I own it. It's a solid little 9mm home defense, you know, don't want to shoot through too many walls kind of weapon. Just make sure you're using the actual PSA mags and not the ETS mags. If you can find actual Scorpion mags, that'd be great. I cannot find them anywhere in the state of Georgia, so that's a little bit of a problem. But I would be remiss if I don't bring up the fact that there is a new version of this weapon, the ARV Saber from PSA, and it literally has, I think, every single upgrade that I put into this weapon out of the box. It has a better grip, it has a better trigger, it comes with the same ambi safety and charging handle. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same thing. Upgraded muzzle device, and it's made with the Saber parts, so that's, you know, gonna be a little bit more quality than the standard version that I have here. Only reason I might say pick up this one and upgrade it versus buying the one that comes pre-upgraded is because, from what I've been able to tell the reviews, it's had worse tolerances than this old one, so that's something to be aware of. And this has been shearing on some of the internals of the Saber version of this gun, so buyer beware. I'm not saying not to get it, I'm saying, you know, make sure you inspect it properly if you do decide to get it, because it does come with a lot of it comes with every upgrade that I put onto this weapon and more, but out of the box, it might not be as ready as this weapon. So if you want a cheap, little, simple 9mm PCC, would I recommend the ARV? I would, personally. I think it is a fantastic, fun weapon with magazines that feel better to me. I love the way that Scorpion mags feel. They feel much better than Glock mags. I don't want a Glock mag in anything that's not a Glock personally, and it just runs, especially with these PSA mag. But yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say on the ARV. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to talk about more weapons. I love talking about weapons. I'm definitely going to be talking about more weapons in the future, so stay subscribed if you want to see more weapon related stuff. We have a Zastava AK review coming up soon, and a couple of handguns that I'm very interested in talking about. But otherwise, don't let the man keep you down.